So David, a 1-0 win against Nantwich Town, an informed Nantwich Town who, again, another good side who've come here and you've picked up some points. You've got to be pleased with the result today.
Yeah, really pleased with the result. They came here top of the form table, third in the league, and deservedly so. We'd had them watched. We'd be able to get over some video packages as well. And we looked, and they're a side who are adaptable. They can play in different ways. They do it very, very well. They've got good quality going forward. They're resolute. They don't concede many goals. I thought they were very good today. They asked a lot of questions. We were just defending valiantly. Thought we worked so hard. We talk about doing the ugly side of the game, the things that come for free, the work rate, the effort, the desire to go and block things, and I thought we had nice space today. I thought we were so good out of possession. Apart from maybe 10 minutes at the end of the first half, I thought we sat back a little bit and we just dropped off and give them a bit too much space. I thought second half in particular we were superb, and Luke Barlow and Matt Kardach, Finn Madigan, multiple save, blocks, headers. I thought they were really kind of epitomised what we were about today.
Just on touching on that, I think there's probably, it's not really a moment as such, but I think we went through a bit of a dip in form, and players and management took a few pelters online about performances and maybe a bit of heart, which was well levelled, to be fair. But do you feel like that's the sort of difference in this league, with where the quality is so close to each other, that just having that fight, having that battle, we've put in some battling performances recently.
Yeah, that was a disappointing at Coles. I just thought we were out for in our battle that day. I thought we didn't do the basics. We didn't do the ugly side of the game at all. And there were a lot of questions asked in that dressing room, and there was a lot of nonsense online. And we as a management team, as a squad, as a collective, had to kind of look at ourselves, look at what we were doing. And we've talked about before in interviews, went back to basics. We really went back to basics, and what our best performances, what have we done to be successful? And it's nothing clever. It's work incredibly hard for each other, back each other up, chase things down, hunt the ball, and then when we turn it over, then we need a bit of quality. And we had that little bit of quality with Mason's finish today. We had a couple of other chances flashed across, but when questions are asked, everybody was willing to put the body on the line today. And that's the difference, and it is in this league that is what it will come down to. A little bit of luck, but you make your luck. We got lucky with a block. Well, somebody went and made that block. Or you got lucky with the ball breaking the box. Well, somebody made a run into the box to make that happen. And I thought we did all of that today. If they'd have equalised, it'd have been massively disappointing. But you would have probably said on the balance of the game, fair. The fact that they didn't was because we showed a lot of desire, a lot of heart, a lot of passion, a lot of commitment. And a massive amount of work rate and effort.
And touching on the goal, so we'll come on to the scorer in a couple of minutes, but what was Obbs doing taking a long throw in the corner?
So we've had this discussion with Obbs quite a lot, and he's played wing back a few times where he's had to take throw-ins, and he has got a decent throw. We haven't really got a long throw-in, and a couple of players have said take it and put it in. He just I haven't got a long throw, and then he just saw something quick, and acted on it, and that's what the best players do. They just see something and they just make something happen. It's a useful bit of our armoury to have an awareness of now, though. It certainly gives us something different. I think G's got a good throw as well. He's done similar on a couple of occasions. So if we can do that, and we talk about tempo and intensity, actually, if you've got a winger who's willing to pick the ball up and throw it quick and get us back playing, that can be a massive advantage for us.
And Mason Fawns, I know you've not been here the last couple of weeks, but missed the 100th for him. Mm-hmm. But I guess a special moment for him today. He's had his presentation in the bar after the game. Lots of his family have come down for today, so capped it with a goal as well. Just how good has he been recently? I think he's second joint top scorer in the league as well now as well. So
yeah, and wasn't a penalty today. I'm pretty sure he stood on the penalty spot when he shot, but it wasn't actually a penalty. Mason's been brilliant. I talk a lot about the group that we've got, leadership group, and he's one of the 6 players that are class in that leadership group. Came in at half time today, and he was the first player to speak, and that sums up where Mason is. He does see himself now as a leader. I think the players do. The players recognise what talent he is. You kind of joke about it, get the ball and find Mason or Obbs, and it kind of is a joke. It's also football, isn't it? You get the ball and give it to your best players who can make things happen. And unfortunately kind of limped out with a little bit of a niggle today, but he'd already had a massive impact on the game. He was touch and go to play Tuesday. He kind of put himself through with an injury on Tuesday as well. So it's not just the quality he's bringing, but the attitude. And if you watch that back today, the number of times he was back in our half, defending, breaking things up, winning headers. I mean, when that's never been a thing, but he was willing to do it all, and that shows, and that example he sets then rubs off across the rest of the team.
And you spoke a bit about leaders. You spoke as well about some real solid defensive performances from Matt, from Luke, who makes 2 great blocks today, and from Finn. But you know, he probably is an unsung hero pretty much everywhere he goes. But Mark Lees was excellent today, and a proper leader on the pitch as well.
Yeah, he's brilliant. If you look at that span, I mean, we've got Will Shepherd and Brewster sat on the side. There were 2 more leaders, Reece on the bench. They're probably the 3 I would put into that group. But you look at Lees, he covered every blade of grass. He was winning headers, he was breaking things down, he was blocking things, he was turning the ball over, dragging people around, organising us. And that's what he's offered since he's gone back into that midfield role, and it's worked. It's suited us with you know, Matt's very comfortable at the back. I think we look much more comfortable as a 4, and it means Leesy can play in that role where he can anchor and he can organise and drag plays in and break things up, and you know, go and compete for headers with forwards, take a bit of the pressure off Barlow and Matt Kardach. And he's not just, you see it on the pitch, his leadership. He's not just that with Lees, it's everything else. So during the week he'll have been on to players, he'll be messaging players, he's been chatting to players after the game, he's talking to players who are missing out. He's constantly buzzing around the squad, and that's so important to have that kind of captain who's helping pull the squad together and bring the squad together. And you can see how much he means to him. He's a quiet lad, but you can see how much he means to him at the end of the games where we win with performances like that, and goes a little bit wild in front of the fans, and it means a lot to him. And again, it's contagious. When you've got that with your most experienced player, it's going to rub off, and it's going to rub off positively on the young lads who are coming through, the likes of Matt Kardach, Casper, Jack Marrow, Remy, all played massive roles today, and you know, I think Lee's inspiration and Lee's leadership plays a massive part in how they've developed.
Sort of last touch on players, I think we probably spoke about everyone today, to be fair, but Adam Sherritt's been really unlucky with his sending off and being suspended, but Casper's come in, and him and Obbs seem to have quite a good partnership down that left-hand side today. Thoughts on that one?
Left back seems to have been a bit of a jinx position for us. I think Cass was unlucky with an illness, an injury, and changing shape, and hadn't really done anything wrong to drop out. Had come back in and done really well, and picked up a niggle, and then Adam went in, did really well and got his suspension. But Casper's done, you know, he's then had to come back in. He's done really well in 3 games since. I thought he was really good today. Took a vicious one to the throat in the first half. He's got Chryso tattoo on his neck at the moment, and half a tooth. But he kind of soldiered through, and I thought he was really good. He was unlucky in the first half, made a great overlapping run and drove into the box. And he has got that kind of building that really good relationship with Obbs, and it creates a massive outlet for us with the way we want to play. I think on the other side you've got Jack and Mason who do similar, and it does create a real outlet for us. And I think with Cass, what I'd just like to see more of, and I said this to him, he's probably a bit more belief in himself and assert himself a bit more, because I think he is better than he probably believes he is. And he could really start to get to the point that he's established at this level now. He can really start to assert himself on games much more than he does.
And we move on. It's a funny month, October, because on paper, if you look at October, you're wondering maybe where you're going to pick the points up from. Mm-hmm. And we've played well. We've played probably against most of the informed teams, although you could say that most months, in fairness, or good quality teams. But we travel Saturday to Vauxhall Motors, who have been on fire this season as well.
Yeah, won again today. Another 1-0 win. Really good side. Really hard working, disciplined, quality up front. Physical with Ellison and Quarles. So they're going to ask a lot of questions next week. It's never an easy place to go. We're going there though unbeaten in 5. 3 wins and 2 draws from 5 games. So we go into that with confidence. I'm hoping we get a couple of bodies back. So Reece was on the bench, but he's hopefully pushing for a start next week. We saw Bailey was on the bench today and came on. Brewster sat out today, but it's hopefully not too serious, and he should be in contention next week. So we've got some real questions to answer in terms of squad selection next week and starting 11, which is a great place to be. So we've got to go over there and back ourselves, and it all comes down to attitude. It all comes down to, can we do what we did today? I said that to the players. It was superb today. After the game, I said that's what we've got to do every week. We've shown we can do that. If we do that week in, week out, we'll win far more than we lose. And that's just down to, for me, that's just down to attitude and mentality.
And just on the last one on the league this year, it's a strange league this season. It's open for most teams, but at the same time, there's that jeopardy for most teams where you get a bit of consistency, you shoot up, but you lose a couple and you shoot back down. How difficult is that for you, knowing that you've got one eye looking forward, but another eye looking firmly behind you?
It's probably a little bit early in the season to look at the league table. There's still all sorts of weird inconsistencies because of games in hand and teams who've had cup runs and things like that. But Edinburgh lost again today, and you think at some point that's got to come good, but they kind of move a third of the way into the season now, and I think they're somewhere down towards the bottom, and actually started catching up some of the games in hand. So and Coles, it was Coles who beat them 2-1, and you think Coles won't stay in that bottom four for very much longer. So it's really difficult. The reality is we can't look any further forward than Vauxhall Motors at the moment. We've got to prepare properly. We've got to make sure the players are right. They all went in the ice baths. They'll do the rehab and the work they need to do on Tuesday. They'll be back in and training on Thursday. We prepare for Vauxhall, and then once Vauxhall's out of the way, we then think about the next game. We can't get ahead of ourselves, and there is that thought of where you're kind of looking up a little bit and thinking, well, we could potentially push if we get into a run. We could be knocking on the door, because it is open and it is tight this year. But I don't. That's getting way too far ahead of ourselves, and it isn't what necessarily the ambition is. We always want to be competing at the end of the table, but realistically, our target is to make sure we pull well away from relegation. And today was another step towards that. We want to be consistent. Today was another good level of consistency in terms of performance, and we want to entertain the fans. And the way that they're in the bar now with the music on and everything else, that would suggest to me that they were entertained today. And they're the most important things. And if you do that, results will pick up, and then the league table will look after itself. But you don't get ahead of yourself. Make sure you get the performances right. The results will follow, and then the league table will where it is.
Thanks, David.
Cheers, Nathan.